Hello and welcome back to Manny Reads Comics. Today I'm going to be recapping slash reviewing The Amazing Spider-Man 66, as you can see here. And if you're listening on Spotify, you can't see it, but I just pointed at the image that I have. If you want to see that image, you can go to YouTube. It's a good place. It's a good time for me to remind you that I am on different platforms here. This episode will be on YouTube, Spotify, Google, and I believe Apple Podcasts as well. Jumping into this, I'm gonna say Nick Spencer finally finished a story. I say that, obviously he's finished his other stories, but this whole Kindred thing has really left me in a sour taste in my mouth, I guess you could say. Um, just because he started this, it's a huge story, and he's just continuing it. I think it's gonna go past August, maybe even to the early September. I don't know, but I'm not feeling that. I need this Kindred story to end already. I want to know what happens. Why is Mephisto coming in? Um, I want to know who Kindred is. I know it's Harry. I've already assumed that it's Harry from another time with the whole Mephisto thing coming up, but uh, but I want solid answers. I don't want my guesses. I want my solid answers, right? But to this story, it does start off with Mordo continuing to torture Kindred, and he's letting him know, if you would have just done what we wanted, it would have been over. But Kingpin has what he wants. He resurrected his son, the Rose, and now there's no use for Kindred. So Mordo was basically about to kill him right before Norman comes in with, I think, either security guards or police. I can't really tell. They could just be the Ravencroft security, but I'm not sure. But he comes in with them. He knocks out Baron Mordo, and he gets arrested. They take him away, and then it looks like Kindred's like, "Oh my God, Dad, you saved me. You actually did it. This is exactly what I wanted." It looks like it's going to be a good moment, and then Kindred ruins it, and he's like, "This is what I wanted. I wanted to show you how weak you are," and immediately attacks Norman, and that's it. They don't really show what happens after. It's just him attacking him. The next page shows us Spider-Man brooding in the corner. He's back in his regular suit. He realizes he's done a couple of things wrong. He's still upset about Boomerang betraying him, and definitely get that, because it did seem like Boomerang had turned a corner, and he vouched for him to these defenders slash Avengers that he recruited for help. Um, I think it's Wolverine, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Hawkeye was there. I want to say there was a couple more, but I can't off the top of my head right now. But they look at him. They're like, "Are you really just gonna brood all day? This happens. We get it." But at the end of the day, they have to deal with the issue that just came up. Somehow I don't know how they know this, but they know that Kingpin has resurrected the Rose. I don't know how they could possibly know that, because it looks like they're still at the scene of wherever they were, like where they were fighting in the last issue. It looks like Boomerang got away and gave that stone to Kingpin. So it's either they were hanging out all day in the same spot and then got news about the resurrection or something. I don't know. I'm not connecting any dots. So if you personally know how these dots connect, let me know. But I don't know how they can possibly know that the Rose was resurrected, but they do, and they bring it up. And Luke Cage says, "You know what? I'm done with this. We are responsible for allowing Kingpin to do his reign of terror on New York City. He is the mayor, but he's allowing all these mafia bosses and stuff like that to run crime uh, unopposed, basically." And he said it's about time they do something of it. So hopefully that means that his reign is coming to an end. We'll see what happens there. That's just like another storyline that's getting um, thrown to us, but it's good. I like that. Finally someone's stepping up and it's like, it's not just Daredevil. I think the only person that I've seen in comics try to stop Kingpin from being the mayor is Daredevil, and now he's in jail. So I mean, hopefully, this something good comes out of this, right? After this, we get kind of the end of this arc wrapped up in the middle of this book with it shows Randy and Robbie at a bar called Minton's, Mintons, Minton's. I may be pronouncing that completely wrong, but who knows? And it's a place that Robbie used to go with his dad. It's a place that was there long before he was born, and it's a place that's gonna be there way after he dies. You know, so he likes to go there. Um, and then we see Randy with his girlfriend, Beetle. And, you know, she's over there signaling for another drink. They're having a good time. They're listening to the band. And then Tombstone comes in, Lonnie, and you know, Robbie sees him. And he's like, "I'm surprised to see you here." And Lonnie's like, "Actually, this is one of my favorite places," which is just another thing that they have in common. Um, they're just talking it up. Robbie does let him know, it's like, "Hey, don't get this confused just because our children are dating." And we saved them or anything. Like the moment I get a chance to put you behind bars, I'm going to do it. You know, I'm not going to hesitate. And Lonnie lets him know, he's like, "Yeah, the moment you try, I'm gonna kill you." You know, like I don't want you to get it twisted either. And they kind of just, you know, clink glasses and they're having a good old time, and it's just a happy ending for everybody. And I don't know if I like that. I I like their animosity together. Um, I do. I mean, I do appreciate that they're willing to set aside their differences for their children. Um, Randy said, or not Randy, Robbie says that, you know, he's like, "I tried to control you, but um, it's your life. This is your life. You need to make your own mistakes, and any problems that I have with anybody doesn't mean that they're your problems either." And he's got a good point. So I mean, I do appreciate them doing that, but I also don't like. It's just too happy ending, um, buddy buddy, very sitcom like, I guess. I don't know. So it's a half and half there. But that wraps up. Everyone's happy. Everyone survived, and we're gonna move on basically. And the only person that's not happy here is Peter because he's realizing he's gonna lose his roommate there. He already lost Boomerang, so he really doesn't have anything to go back to. So he's kind of upset about that. But before we get there, I turned the page and I was invited to the Hellfire Gala. So that's awesome. I don't know if I'm gonna go. I'm definitely not. I'm not getting all those books with the Hellfire. It looks like a really good event. I'm excited. I like to see all the different outfits that they're picking for this event, but I'm not getting those books. The only book that I'm going to get that kind of correlates to it is I do have X-Men in my pool, and I will have planet-sized X-Men. I'm going to get that one shot. But as for the Hellfire Gala on its own, I'll catch the cliff notes from someone else. But moving on, the next page, we see MJ getting into her car, and then she gets kidnapped by Overdrive. Now, Overdrive, we haven't seen him since, I don't know, it's been maybe 2 or 3 issues. And the last time we saw him, it looked like him and Carly Cooper were about to get together. They were talking, they were flirting, and we haven't seen him since. So now that we see him um, kidnapping MJ, I immediately assumed something's wrong with Carly, and I was right because I don't think that he would just kidnap MJ or do anything criminal like, because that's what he was talking to Carly about. Like he doesn't want to do that anymore. That's not his life anymore. So there it makes no sense for him to start kidnapping for no reason. But he does let her know, like, "Hey, I've been talking to Carly." And then one day she's gone, she's out of town, and I don't buy that. I think something's wrong, and I need your help. And MJ immediately jumps in. She's like, "I got this. We need to find her." But then we get Jonah J. Jameson. That guy, they need to they need to let him go as a character. I'm talking about comics in general. He's out of date. He's this whole newspaper guy. They tried to make him relevant with this threats and menaces thing, but he continues to just be an old man. And like, there's nothing wrong with that, but he just he's annoying. And something doesn't go his way, he's a big baby about it. And I get that that's his character, but it's an annoying characteristic. Um, he's just Right now, Spider-Man stopped doing the live streaming for him, so he's like, he basically said his line in Spider-Man. He's like, he doesn't want to be famous. I'll make him infamous. Because he's like, well, all right, he doesn't want to be a beloved hero. I'm gonna go find my own hero and do this, and that's gonna do something that's gonna mess with Spider-Man's life in some sort of way. He doesn't know what he's doing. Like, at least when he was a newspaper reporter or the chief or whatever, like, he was in charge. He knew what he was doing. He was in his element. Now it's a whole different game. Technology has come by, but his character has not evolved with this technology. And I don't know. I think it's more of a negative on his part than it is a positive. I think they just need to kind of give him a final storyline. This is it. You're retired. See him come back every once in a while to help out, I guess. But I don't know. I just don't think that he should be any kind of focus in any part of the story anymore. He's just annoying. So that's my take on J. Jonah Jameson. Anytime I see him now, it's just not relevant. If you want to talk to him, if you want to bring him into a story about like him being kidnapped or him doing something out of trying to be a newspaper or a reporter or anything like that, fine. But anything else, he's just there to cause a problem, and I'm not there for it. Moving on, like I was saying, Peter is realizing that he's got no roommates basically anymore. The money that he got working for Jonah as like doing the live stream stuff, he donated all of that to Feast. And one question I had here was that he's narrating his moment at that part. The last thing that we see before he starts narrating though is J. Jonah Jameson saying, "I'll get a new hero of my own," and then Spider-Man says, "That doesn't sound good, does it?" Blah blah blah. So he's narrating, kind of like breaking the fourth wall, and that's my question right there. How is he breaking the fourth wall? He's not Deadpool. How does he know that Jonah is saying this about getting a new hero? Uh, I don't know. That's just my question. That was weird. That was just a little off. I think that was just a mistake on the writing team. Because it's a normal thing to do. If you're narrating, you can do the whole fourth wall breaking or whatever. But when it comes to comics, I think it's established that is fourth wall breaking. Deadpool is pretty much the only one that could do it. Gwenpool, I believe, could also do it as well. I know there's other characters that do it, but Spider-Man is not one of those, right? Um, it's just something I caught and I wanted to bring out there to everyone's attention. But back to what he was doing, he's realizing everyone's pretty much gone. Before he wants to get too into his feelings, he gets a text message, the 16th text message from Betty Brant. And he's like, you know what, this is good for me. I'm going to go talk to an old friend. Nothing like no surprises, to bring you back down. And as soon as he gets to her, he sees that she's pregnant. So that's a nice little surprise. I'm sure they'll explain that in the next issue. But that's pretty cool. And then finally, with the last pages, Carly Cooper wakes up in a jail cell, and she's trying to get out. She's yelling for help, and someone behind her pretty much says that's useless. That there's no help. There's no help coming, and it's a shadow. But then she turns around. They reveal it, and it's Harry Osborn. Finally, they show that Harry is not Harry Kindred, whatever. The I don't know. The puzzle pieces are coming together, where everyone's that thought that Harry went to Europe. Like that now they're thinking that he is Kindred, that he did this just to become Kindred. I knew that wasn't it. This Kindred is Harry, but it's just another Harry from another, I don't know, dimension, multiverse, timeline, whatever you want to call it. But here it is, finally in some kind of tangible form. But again, I don't think Nick Spencer is planning to finish this story until late August, early September. So it's just like it's a tiny little piece that we want, but it's not the whole cake, basically. I don't know how else to describe that, but it's something. And for that something, I gave it half a point more than I was originally going to give it. So originally it was a 6, but now it's a 6.5 out of 10. and 6.5 just because of the reveal of Harry. Another positive is just that the story actually ends. The whole Beetle and Randy, will they, won't they kind of story. I've heard it compared to Romeo and Juliet, and I kind of agree. But that story ends. It doesn't continue. It's not just like we're gonna move on to the next story. It completely ends. So that's good. My main negative of this issue was Jonah J. Jameson. I think I made that pretty clear. And then a couple of just like positive slash negatives. Um, I was talking about the whole story ending. It's a happy ending. That's kind of a positive and a negative. I did explain that. And the main positive negative is that this issue pretty much is setting up a lot of storylines to come up in the future. If Nick Spencer's going to write them, maybe, I don't know. Uh, but it's setting up the Kingpin / Rose storyline. Um, the Kindred storyline's finally advancing. We got Betty Brant showing up. Why is she even there? Is she going to be part of that Kindred story? Maybe. That actually makes a lot of sense. I just thought of that right now. And then we got MJ and Overdrive. That little storyline. Yeah, it's all going to revolve around Kindred, but it's still like another piece. So it's cool to see. So, and it's also setting up the Jonah storyline with he's gonna get another hero. If that's gonna do with Kindred, who knows? I don't think so. But a lot of storylines are building from this, so that's, I feel like it's positive, but it could definitely turn into a negative, depending on how those stories go. That's pretty much it for this book. Yeah, 6.5. It's not bad. It's I think if we didn't have that bad taste that Nick Spencer has left with the continuation of this Kindred storyline, then I would feel like it's a 7.5 maybe. But as of right now, 6.5. Good story. And that's it. That's the recap / review for this. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gave you some insight that you didn't know. Um, but yeah, like I said earlier, make sure you check out all the different platforms that you can get this episode up on. And thank you for joining. I truly appreciate it. And have a wonderful day.